Chris McKinley again, and I'm here with my friend Rashad.
Hey, how y'all doing?
And we're here with Outpour Productions, and we are discussing this epic Brandy and Monica versus battle. So I was just telling him, I remember growing up, you had to almost pick one or the other. Like you were either a Monica or Brandy fan. It wasn't really a safe space to be both.
I'm Team Monica, but you could have picked either one. But yeah, I'm definitely Team Monica.
You know what? And that's the amazing thing about tonight, and I think that's what will reflect most of people, is that both of them were so like neck to neck to where you couldn't have really had a wrong choice, right?
No, both of them are great, and that's what tonight is all about. It's more of a celebration. Granted, people like myself are always going to have their favorite, but tonight is just a celebration. This is about the culture, the celebration of a culture, and it's an unequivocal fact. There are no other women in the industry in R&B in the 90s that held it down like Monica, Brandy, and rest in peace to Aaliyah, but definitely Monica
gotta
and Brandy
mention
held it
Aaliyah.
down. They definitely held it down.
They did, you know, and I always knew these girls were like major, right? Because, you know, you grow up, I'm an 80s baby. Are you an 80s baby?
Yes,
okay.
80s baby.
Grew up in the 90s? Okay, right. So it was almost impossible to be a part of this era and then not be like captivated by these women. They were a part, like I remember seeing Space Jam and hearing Monica in the movie soundtrack, and then, you know, wanting to be sitting up in my room listening to
my first album, I think the first time I ever heard one of them was Monica. My mom had the Miss Thing album, and I just remember my mom always playing Don't Take It Personal, Why I Love You So Much, and I used to always try to do that Monica
Why
part.
I Love You So Much.
And I love you for that.
Baby.
I used to always try to
You know, Monica has that. She can go
in
in
hot
it.
mess now, but I used to always try that as a kid. But of course, I listened to Monica, and of course, Moesha. That was a part of my daily life.
Yeah.
Coming home from school and watching her. And
so many.
I mean, it's just...
So I remember being like this little kid, right? And Brandy was one of my first actual CDs. What was the album with Almost Doesn't Count? Well, what album?
Never Say Never.
Never Say Never.
That was her second album. Yeah.
Listen, Never Say Never was everything. I remember having my Walkman. You guys remember the little Walkmans?
You went back. You telling our age.
I had the Walkman with the big old headphones, like literally at my grandmother's house, curled up, listening to Almost Doesn't Count, thinking I'm in love, thinking I've been hurt. What was that, third grade, fourth grade, something?
Young. We were under 10.
Literally, but that's just the kind of music that they had that even though we weren't old enough to really, they weren't old enough.
They weren't.
Monica was like 12 singing Don't Take It
Personal, And Brandy was,
and we were 12 listening.
Singing, sitting up in my room. Who's she sitting up in her room thinking
Nobody.
Who is she broken hearted over?
Nobody. Her mama, her daddy. However, I think that's what was so lit about their music is that it connected you, you know?
Definitely.
And that's what was dope about music back then. You felt it regardless of if you had that exact experience or you didn't. But this Verzuz specifically, okay.
That was
if
great.
you had to, we know it was great. Cancel that. If you had to say Brandy or Monica, who would you give it to?
I honestly can't say that I can give it to one or the other, even though I am a bigger Monica fan. Like listening to Monica and Brandy go toe to toe, one song after the other, one hit after the other, one soundtrack for one soundtrack. Like there really wasn't one specific winner for me. I think it was just like, damn, like these girls really had catalogs for days.
Yeah.
And that's really what it was for me.
And you know what? I'm kind of on the same page, right? So I came in with the clear favorite, but I was also determined to be neutral. I was determined to just be open-minded.
I was the complete opposite. I came in here Team Monica
ready for your favorite
day, every day. But when Monica started playing like some of the songs, I'm like, you know what? I actually like this song. This was my song, or I like this song better than that song when you compare to the two. Yeah.
Going song by song, it really made me appreciate their catalogs.
Yeah.
You know, and just because people kind of want to place Brandy in a superior position because her vocal abilities are different and her commercial success is different. But when you play song to song, it is just like a draw. I mean, both girls are just bomb. Literally.
Brandy. She was the bigger superstar.
She was the commercial success. She appealed to more audiences than the black community in a way that Monica didn't.
Yes, definitely. When you're talking about queens, we do use that term. You know, she's a queen and you only been out 2 years. You only put out one EP.
Put some respect on that word. Put some respect on it. Like
about a queen, I think of women like Monica. I think of women like Brandy,
Queen Latifah, and all these iconic women. You know, and
had at least 2 decades.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna call yourself a queen, you need to have a minimum.
Yeah.
That's the minimum.
You got to be able to do a versus.
You got to be able to do a versus.
If you can't do a versus, stop calling her a queen. And if it's nobody comparable, who is she queening against? You know.
Honestly speaking, if your catalog can't go from the 90s to the 2000s to the 2010s, and we at 2020, your relevance is waning. I don't know what to tell you, because when I think of queens, I think of Monica, I think of Brandy, I think of Beyonce, I think of
those girls.
Those girls, yeah.
And you know what?
It's kind of slim, so yeah, keep it at those 3.
It's really interesting how, to me, their music is still relevant. All these years later, even though their music it transcends time without really adjusting to the time. Like it plays on nostalgia. So you hear old Brandy, you hear old Monica, and it's not that it necessarily has a place in music today, but it gives you that feeling. It takes you back. It makes you nostalgic. You feel like you're at the middle school dance or the high school dance at your grandma's house. And let's look at some of these songs and tell me
highlights of the show, because that's what we're here for. So let's talk about some of the songs. Brandy and Monica went toe to toe, song for song, hit for hit.
I have one.
What you got?
So, Almost Doesn't Count versus Why I Love You So Much. What you got? What you got? That's how I felt when they played those two. Literally sitting there like, this ain't fair.
I don't know.
This ain't fair.
I'm going to give it to Monica. Why I Love You So Much. It's nostalgic for me because, as I said earlier in the video, I tried to hit that low note.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you more than. And it's still a hot mess now. I know y'all probably watching like, what he doing? What he trying to do? But that song to me is just nostalgic. It takes me back to a place and a time. So for me, Monica got that one. But
I love Why I Love You So Much. That may be one of my favorite Monica songs, and that gives me nostalgia too. Like I literally can remember like this old birthday. I've had 32 birthday parties, right? So I remember the birthday party I had the year that song came out, and all of us just like playing and listening to that song. So it has nostalgic, components too, but Almost Doesn't Count, man. That is epitome of Brandy music to me. That is perfect Brandy.
Song,
it is.
I can't deny.
I have to give that one to Brandy.
I can't deny. That was a
tough one. Well, it's not that I didn't want to, but I do feel some kind of way because Why I Love You So Much was so dope. But let's just be real. Almost Doesn't Count.
So we're gonna go to the next song. What's the next pick?
All right. So here's another pinnacle song, with 2 pinnacle songs of their career. Full Moon, which was Brandy's comeback after 4-year hiatus.
Never album for y'all.
Bam.
Don't remember.
And So Gone.
Ooh,
I ain't playing fair.
So gone
They didn't play fair.
Over you. No Monica.
Yeah. Silly of me.
Listen, boy, I'm no rowdy chick.
Hey.
Kick down your door and smack your chick. Yup.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Now, Monica.
Don't get me wrong.
Monica.
Don't get me wrong, because we do have to show some love to Brandy's Full Moon album. Full Moon
was so great.
He is, and she performed that song, and we might compare that.
Oh, we ain't talking about He Is yet. Hold on,
we didn't get there yet. But if we're gonna talk about the Full Moon album, that was her comeback album. Full Moon album was it was good. So kudos to you, Miss Brandy. But Monica got that one for me. And
she got it. Yeah. So speaking of He Is, let's just go ahead and get that one out. So He Is versus Making of You.
Oh, Brandy.
Hands down.
I mean,
hands down.
That's the best song, and Brandy actually revealed that she wasn't able to do a lot of singles off of that album because she was with child. Mm-hmm. So I think after Full Moon and What About, she couldn't do any
But
more songs.
even Monica mentioned in the verses that He Is, I think she said that was one of the times of Brandy's tone just showed, and it rode the whole song. Like, this is gonna be tough too. This is gonna be really, really tough because both of these are gonna be like super, super nostalgic, especially if you were growing up in the 90s era or was already grown and popping during that time. Then you gonna feel both of it. Okay, so we got "Wanna Be Down" by Brandy, major hit, one of her biggest hits. And do you have "Don't Take It Personal" by Mo?
Can we call that a draw?
Do we
honestly
have another choice but to call it a draw?
We can call that a draw. Because Brandy was iconic with that.
Oh yeah.
You know, the little dance that they was doing in the video.
With the rappers.
And Monica
MC, Queen.
Yeah, Monica, that was a hit song for her. Like, I think when you think of their first albums and their first early singles in their career, that's what you think of. So we're going to give both of those queens their flowers on that draw.
Yeah. It's like they're so much more leveled than what we think they are, you know? And this is why I like Verzuz, because it's so easy to compare like charts. And to say numbers of this person outsold, that's black and white, right? So we know who the clear successor or more successful one is in that.
We already established Brandy was a commercial success.
Yeah, absolutely. But with Verzuz, with it being so culture driven, you know, you really just focus on how it makes you feel, what it did, where you were at the time when the song came out. And I remember, and I guess I'm telling my age too, because I remember my mom like being in the car with her as a kid and songs that come on the radio. She'd be like, I was at the prom in 1980 when this song came out. And now, yes, I'm at an age now where I was like, oh, I was in middle school in Miss Johnson class and we were standing up singing, "Don't Take It Personal," you know?
We was like 8. Like what we know about taking stuff personal.
About to have our mama call.
That was the bop, yes.
"Broken Hearted," which has 2 versions, okay?
Yes. I'm impartial to the solo version of Shape.
Oh, I like the other one.
You like the one with
Wanye? What was it? Wanye? Is that how you say his name?
Wanye.
Yeah.
Like
Wanye.
W.
No, certainly.
You like his stuff?
Oh my God, the way their voices match each
like
other.
I like Brandy's voice on that one, which is funny because she talked about how insecure she was about her voice because it was changing from like a little girl to a more older sounding person. So
beautiful though.
Yeah, nonetheless, she slayed on both versions. But what song did Monica have with that?
"Love All Over Me."
Okay, can I be the first one to say that's my wedding song?
That
is my wedding song.
Are you engaged?
No. I'm a single lady. No one put
so you've already picked out the song.
I'm putting that out there. It's either that or Sade's.
Wait. So the song doesn't have to match the partner. It's just you coming in with the pre-existing song. Okay.
Now
who are you giving this one to? Because to me, even though "Love All Over Me" is so amazing, I have to give it to Brandy for "Broken Hearted." This was just
Brandy,
a banger.
You got that one, girl.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm impartial to the solo version of that song, but you can't deny her and Wanye have a chemistry. That's why they were together, and it showed on the song. So
it did. Their voices flow together so freaking well. Okay. So here, this is not the battle I thought they would have played. I thought she would have chosen another song to kind of better match this. But however, this is what they chose. They didn't ask me. Nobody asked me this time. What we got? We have "Angel in Disguise" by Brandy, which we know was a major hit.
Shout out to Joe, because you did your thing on that writing.
Yeah, we love Joe. Joe's another one for the Verzuz.
Yes.
He should do one against somebody.
We'll think about that another time.
Genuine or something? I don't know.
Case.
Oh, yeah. And "Should Have Known Better" by Monica. So you got "Angel in Disguise" and "Should Have Known Better."
That's hard because honestly,
Decisions.
we talked about this. I felt, and I guess they did it for the spot and for the fans, but I don't know if they necessarily knew what they were going to play each time that they were done.
I think I feel like I saw people yelling from the sideline,
Yeah,
like, "Hey, Mo, play you shoulda."
Right, because it's like, oh, she came out with that song.
Right,
and then
right.
There were some songs that they came out with earlier than we thought they
Well,
would have. So
I felt like Monica should have played her Angel song, right? Angel of Mine versus
that,
Angel in
it's the
Disguise.
I felt like they should have gone in chronological order of the eras, like Angel
Well,
of Mine and
maybe not that for me, but at least play on like the words, the puns, be.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Brandy on this one. Yeah, I'm giving it to Brandy on this round. She had the better song, and I think Monica.
I'm gonna have to give it to Monica because I'd still play Should Have Known Better. I haven't played Angel in Disguise in a very long time, even though I loved it.
For all the men who are on lockdown, who are not a part of the free world.
Wasn't she like talking against the
Yeah, she was in Mexico.
Yeah, and he was in jail.
She didn't need the
shopping sprees.
I don't agree with you.
Yeah, I don't either. I definitely need the shopping sprees
on Melrose, Beverly Hills, Kingston Avenue.
Expect it.
All of them. Julia Roberts, Pretty Woman. Richard Gere pull up in the Lotus. I'm in the car. So
you go broke, I go single.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monica. So we're gonna not only do we disagree with your lyrics, but we're gonna give that to Brandy. Okay. Love you though, but you should have known better than to say that.
One of the things that's interesting about this Brandy versus Monica battle is that there are really fans who did not believe that this was a real thing. They kind of thought it was hyped up. Nah, this was it wasn't quite Biggie and Tupac. It wasn't,
no guns involved.
Wasn't nobody taking no hands off or nothing like that.
Right.
But this was a real deal beef. There was two girls who I feel like were in their preteens and coming into their own and trying to have this level of success and being compared against this other girl in time of life where you're so insecure about every little thing, and they were kind of forced into being enemies. And then they also just seemed very different to me. Like Monica always was that sassy ATL Georgia Miss Thing, tell her Whitney Houston, I'm gonna get you kind of girl.
Miss USA pageant.
Yes.
Much like her character on Moesha, everything had, at least on the surface,
kind of goofy a little bit. Brandy would like run up to the stage and get the awards about to knock the people down. It was quirky and cute and like adorable, and then Monica was like, oh, that little girl, it was.
They were diametrically opposed from the start, and
they were.
When you take teen. You think about how we are when we were teenagers. We took everything, no matter how small or minute it may be, and we make it into the biggest drama in the world, and we get on our soapbox. And then when you get grown men and women who take advantage of these girls' vulnerability and pit them against each other, they're listening to their management and their people, their makeup artists, their hairstylists. Oh, she said this,
what you need to do, how you need to respond.
Yeah.
And honestly,
there was no social media back then.
True. You know what? But I think people, the fans in the industry, there were people who wanted them to be enemies and people who wanted them to be friends. And I personally feel like if they weren't celebrities and if they weren't involved in music in the way that both of them are, that they wouldn't even be friends. If they were just Brandy and Monica who went to school and were both in 7th grade at the same time, they would not attract the same type of guys. They would not attract the same type of friends. They probably wouldn't be in the same groups outside of chorus, a show choir. They're just different girls. Yeah, very different girls that had real beef. But I think especially in this time in 2020 where everything is so divisive, you have the just and the unjust, the far right, far left, these radicals and Karens of the world, and it's just so much tension. So to even just have this small show of camaraderie and friendship and just being bigger and better is just so important. And I think it's a voice that is being lended to our community in a time that we really need it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the reason why so many people, 1.2 million views, that was the last time we checked. So they broke the record from Jill Scott and Erykah Badu, which was around 400,000, maybe 450,000.
And look how much more that is.
Yeah, so it just shows their relevance. That they are the...
Or how many old people are still alive.
Yeah. We telling our ages, y'all. But, we love them, and that's why they're so celebrated. That's why we are here tonight talking about them 24 or 25 years after they first came out. So that's how we feel about the show. That's how we felt about the Verzuz battles. Anything else you want to say?
No, I will. I just want to take a moment to thank you for doing this with me. But, other than you know what I'm saying, and Outpour, of course, I just want to say thank you to these queens who we have regarded as such for so many obvious reasons, who came together in this hard time, who left their families and said, hey, you know what? I'm coming together with the support, of my industry, of my fans, and we're going to do this for the culture. We're going to show people that grown people can get past differences and get along, and they did just that, and it was beautiful. Not to be corny, but it was, I'm a little emotional about it.
It took me back, sitting up in my room. Yes, it took me back. So thank you, Monica. Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
Rashad.
Verzuz. Thank you guys for the outpour of love and support.